When you're working with your XREF in your host drawing, you can set what is called a clipping boundary. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to clip the XREF back to a certain boundary. Now, in the case of our property line, that would not be too obvious because it's purely a dashed line. But let's say we had something like a PDF as the XREF underneath, and it was showing all the contours and all the buildings around our property. What we could do is we could clip that back so that it fits into a viewport perhaps in a layout when we're preparing our AutoCAD drawing. Now the benefit you do have with this is you just literally select your XREF like so. So I've clicked on the XREF in the drawing and I'm staying in the 13 xrefs.dwg file using the XREF that we've already attached. You'll notice that we get the contextual tab on the ribbon, the external reference tab, and you can see there in the clipping panel, we have Create Clipping Boundary. So if I click there now and come into the drawing area, I get the option to select a polyline that I've already drawn, create a polygonal boundary, or a rectangular boundary. I'm going to select a rectangular boundary, like so. And I'm going to specify the first corner. I'm going to come down here, bottom right, click, and just drag my rectangular boundary about halfway and click again. And you'll notice, can you see the dashed line is now cut so that it's only inside the boundary. So the benefit you have there is you could display the drawing information on the left-hand side without anything underneath it, without anything referenced into it. Now what I can do there is I can obviously edit that if I want to. I can obviously click here on the arrow. And can you see I can invert that, which is really useful. I can invert the boundary. That's really rather nice. And I can also just click on the grips and drag, and I can make that smaller if I want to. So I can bring that in a bit, and it changes where the boundary goes. Click again, changes where the boundary goes, and then I can invert that as well. And can you see that's a nice invert because it shows 3/4 of that dashed boundary on the left-hand side. Now, obviously, once that's done, and once I've used it and I'm finished with it, I can literally go to Remove Clipping, and it just takes me back to the reference that's in the drawing already. So that's how you can clip and utilize your XREFs in your drawing. Now obviously, as I said, the XREF that we've got is very simple. It's a dashed line showing the property line around our building. But the benefit you have is you can do this with any XREF that you bring into your drawing. And there's nothing to stop you having more than one XREF either. Have as many XREFs as you need. The one benefit you have with XREFs is if you're bringing in a DWG file as an XREF into your host drawing, the actual XREF that comes in is only 10% of the size of the actual drawing that you've XREF'd in. So it's not going to make your host drawing too big either from a file size perspective. So use that clipping boundary if you want to tidy up your XREF or perhaps hide part of it when you're bringing in an XREF into your host drawing.